Hi, Bennies and Johnnies. Welcome back to the What's the Buzz podcast. My name is Zoe, one of the student coordinators here.
And my name is Alex, also a student coordinator.
And for our third episode, we are so excited because we have two of the Stop It Buzzed founders here to answer some questions and talk to us a little bit about how Stop It Buzz got started and their experience here at CSB+SJU.
So we were wondering if you guys could start by just introducing yourselves to the CSB and SJU community and telling us a little bit about what life looks for you now.
Sure. Ben, you want to go first?
Jodi, go for it.
Hi, I'm Jodi Carreon. My maiden name was Jodi Johnson when I was at school. I currently live in the San Diego area. I've been out here for about 15 years now. I'm a mom with 2 kids. I'm married to a Johnny. So we've been out here for a while. And now life looks like I am a full-time, volunteer and advocate. I've co-founded an organization called Smartphone Free Childhood US about 2 years ago. So I've been working with them basically full-time since then. And then part of that work, I'm focused on, the organization itself is focused on encouraging parents to delay giving access to fully equipped smartphones and social media for mental health reasons and just all the data that's coming out around there. And then also part of that work, I focus on the ed tech portion of it. So advocating for the reduced use of screens in our schools. And so I work with parents across the country, helping them advocate within their school districts to change some policies around that as well.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sounds like something that our generation needs.
For sure.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I live in Minneapolis now with my wife Katie and our 2 daughters. Fun fact, Katie was also part of the team that created Buzzed as well. In the OG original photo, she was the one holding the stop sign. So I currently now work in venture capital for Deloitte, a professional services firm. Prior to that, long career in marketing and corporate innovation.
Wow, very cool. Awesome. Okay, so we want to know what inspired you to create Stop It Buzz and what did the process look like? We know it kind of started as a class project. So what were some of the key people? What grade were you in? And what was the party culture like here at the time? And just what inspired it?
So Ben and I were seniors. We worked with a group there were 5 of us. So Ben, myself, Katie, and Patty Allen and Brian Boz. We were all in Erin Szabo's strategic communications class. And one of our big projects for the semester was to create a campaign. And we were able to partner up with different community organizations. One of them was Health and Wellness Services at St. Ben St. John's. And so our group got partnered up with them and we met with them. And I don't remember how we got to sort of the drinking campaign part of it. But I want to say at the time there were all of these posters up that were throwing out all these stats about, basically anti-drinking, don't drink. And we were kind of questioning whether or not they were effective. And so that kind of led to the insight of, maybe we could come up with another sort of student-driven campaign. And that's kind of what got us started.
I do remember actually the ask from the Health and Wellness Department was to create a campaign on the dangers of drinking too much on your 21st birthday. And we felt like that wasn't really going to resonate. So we pitched this route instead. I would say that, drinking culture at the time was just sort of part of normal university experience. But one of the things I think I remember specifically about this project and working with the health and wellness team and also just sort of the construct of what Dr. Szabo put together for this was that it felt like we were actually working with collaborators. It was super cool because it was sort of they trusted us to have sort of a finger on the pulse of what the students wanted. And even though they came in and asked us, hey, can you create this, anti-drinking for your 21st birthday campaign, we said, that's not going to work. And that's one of the things I think I remember most about it was that it felt like I was working in a professional setting. It wasn't like I was treated like a student or even a student employee, but more like a coworker. And I think that's one of the reasons why it worked, is because we collaborated really well.
Yeah, that's super cool. So I did mention before we started recording that I'm in Erin's class right now, and it's actually a public health marketing class where we're creating kind of health-related campaigns for students and seeing what students are looking for. So super relevant and very inspiring, and yeah, I love it.
I really like that they were treating you like a coworker and not a student, and it's kind of cool how you were able to not necessarily like push back, but kind of like, and say, no, this isn't what will resonate with students. And you kind of had your finger on the pulse of what would resonate with them. I feel like that takes a lot of courage to stand up to people.
And kudos to the university as well for listening, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't just, they weren't just funding the project and sort of helping us navigate the logistics of the university, but it was also like, okay, we trust you guys on this. And I think that really, stuck with us, and we use that to not only, build out the campaign, but for all of our job interviews and everything afterwards, of like, this is what it was like working with adults, like in a real world setting.
And I think we also had some justification behind it too. At the time, there was sort of the debate about abstinence-only education as well. And so I think we brought that to the table, that level of education doesn't necessarily work, and the stats don't bear that out. And so we basically applied that same understanding to a drinking campaign.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask if you used like either the skills you gained while you were building this campaign, or if you kind of showed off the campaign itself during job interviews or in your professional career after, and how people responded to that. That wasn't on the list, but I just thought of it as you were talking.
Yeah, it played a huge role in my career. So after the campaign wrapped, I actually applied for a really competitive internship with Martin Williams Advertising in Minneapolis. Thousands of applicants across the country, and I really credit that campaign with securing me a spot. I remember my cover letter. I started it out, one cold day in October, I stood naked in the middle of in a road, and like that's how I started out my cover letter, right? So it was really attention grabbing, and I had a really great portfolio to show them of the work that we did. We won a local award. We also did pre and post surveys. So it was very professionally done. And I think that really helped me launch my career. And I spent the next decade in advertising.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. As a communications major, that's just super cool to hear about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so... Oh, did you want to go? Yeah.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, I just 100%, I used it as well. A lot of storytelling around, just working with different generations of people. But then also, I think just a lot of, when explained what it was that we did, the reaction of like, how did that resonate with your peers and your classmates, and how did you handle that? And so just started, being able to tell stories about, we had some conviction in this and believed in the messaging of it, and didn't really care about, any sort of backlash. I think that resonated well with job interviews, as well as all of the, actual creative components and the working together in a group and all of those elements as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have your guys' kids seen the picture?
Yes, I've showed them, and to clarify, we weren't actually naked.
Yeah.
It just looks like we were.
Yeah,
that's what we've always assumed, but I guess now we know.
Yeah, confirmed, we were not.
My kids are 6 and 8. They have not seen it yet, but we'll probably have to show them after this.
Yeah. Okay, so. Question 3 from the list says, how did it feel for Stop at Buzz to become so much bigger than a class project? Like, for example, there was an article written in the St. Cloud Times about your project. So did you imagine that it would get that big, or how did that feel?
Go ahead, Ben.
I at the time, it was really cool. I think Jodi mentioned we won a regional advertising award, I think from the American Advertising Federation, for the campaign. And so I remember going to an awards ceremony for that. And actually, fun fact, I have that award still. It's like this like triangular piece of granite. It's made an awesome bookend on a shelf for years, and still is still functioning as such. I think the thing that blew me away most was like learning a few years after we graduated that it was not only still going, but that it was like a job that you could have on campus. That blew me away. That was super cool.
Yeah.
I've also wondered, I've seen in Minnesota and a couple other states, like the state highway department has a campaign about, buzz driving is drunk driving. And I've always wondered if, they picked up on our campaign somehow. And I had heard at one point that the health and wellness department had sort of shopped this campaign around to other universities. So I thought that was really amazing. And then to find your guys' Instagram account that this is still going on 20 years later was just incredible to discover. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So is there a moment that you are most proud of from your time creating Stop It Buzz? Was it the St. Cloud Times article, or what stands out?
I would say, the fact that it turned into something with staying power and like that the message has like stood the test of time is something I'm pretty proud of. Like, we obviously didn't invent the concept of drinking in moderation, but the premise of like stopping at buzz, it still resonates at age 42, and it probably will at age 62. So the fact that you guys are still making it a point for ages 18 to 22 is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We always hope that our message given to college students now can be something that they take with them, like when they leave college too, because you're right. Like, it is something that we can think about for our whole lives, not just when there's like a big party culture right around us.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm most proud of sort of the tactics that we used in getting the campaign going. I thought they were really innovative at the time. We consciously took an approach at the start of the campaign to use literally buzz marketing. So we sort of had this sort of guerrilla campaign going on. I remember sitting on the link, and one of our first tactics was we, just basically put posters with the logo up on buses, and everybody's like, what the heck is this? Like, there was no explanation. The logo started showing up around campus. And then we started handing out stickers. I'd sit on the link and like pass stickers around the bus and like around campus. And I actually have one. It was turned into a magnet, but there was a lot of buzz. Everybody's like, what the heck is this? Nobody knew what it was. And so people started talking about it. And then, when we came out with that poster, I think it was so impactful. And that really brought it to attention. And then we, quickly followed that up with the t-shirts. I don't even remember how many we had printed, but we sort of strategically delivered them to, students across grade levels, and, through the campus mail, and they just showed up randomly. And so they kind of became this like prized possession because they were very limited. So I think that really kind of helped prop up the campaign.
Yeah, that's so cool, because now we still make stickers and posters, of course, and we also do t-shirts for Alcohol Awareness Month, but this year we're doing crew necks, so be on the lookout, everyone. So yeah, that's cool that like some of the same things that you were doing, we still do in our jobs here.
And it's interesting to think, I'm not sure that if we tried to start the campaign now, it would have been as successful, because there's so much more social media that people just talk about things through their phone, and they don't really talk to each other about things. So you got to have the benefit of people actually talking to each other and being like, what is buzzed? Like, and it was part of people's campus lives versus I could just go on my phone and be like, oh, what is buzzed? And I feel like it definitely would resonate differently if we tried that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Do you even still have campus mailboxes for physical mail?
Well,
we do.
Yeah.
But people don't check them, actually. So
yeah, and I think you need to sign up for them.
Yeah.
I don't know, at least as Benny's. Mm-hmm.
You just this year now you have to opt in. So the default is that you don't get campus mail. And if you want to get campus mail, like my grandma still likes to send me a birthday card and stuff, so I opted in. But I know people who will check their mail at the end of the year because they have to, and they're like have like 5 cards, and they're like, oh, I didn't know I had this. So and even in that aspect, it probably would not have been as successful.
Totally.
Okay, so I get to ask the next question. If you could go back and tell your college selves anything, what would it be?
Jodi, you want to take this one first?
I would say, I mean, it sounds cliche, but enjoy the ride. You've only got 4 years there, and those 4 years are some of the most unique in your lives. You will never again be in an environment where, your best friends live down the hallway and you can just pop over, and say hi. So just sort of the social context that you're living in is so unique, and to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, I feel like my answer is like the Billy Madison scene when he's like shaking the kid's face and saying, you gotta cherish it, like stay as long as you can. But I would 100% agree with what Jodi said there.
I feel like I'm starting to understand that as well, because I'm a senior and I'm graduating this May. And I think about the past 4 years, and it like went by in the blink of an eye. It's so bittersweet, and I wish I could just be here forever. Like you were saying, your best friends, I'm like, when in my life am I ever going to be this close to my friends again? Never. So
Yeah, I'm a junior right now, and I'm starting to get like the senior scaries a little bit of like, I'm not going to live on campus forever, and I'm not going to be right down the road from my friends. And but it's good to be present and enjoy it.
For sure.
Yes. Do you guys have any special memories or memories that really stand out from your time at CSB+SJU that you'd want to share?
I would say this is one of them, honestly, like in meeting my wife through it, obviously. Yeah. Forming what would become lifelong friendships with classmates that still hold strong to this day. I mean, and I guess just sort of like expand on that last point and what Jodi said too, it's, whether it was through like classwork or activities, sports, concerts, events, social activities like parties and such, or even just hanging out in apartments and dorms, like there's something special about like the shared experiences that you had at that time that are unlike any other relationships that you form in the rest of adulthood. Like, and for all of those people too, it just feels so like effortlessly easy to reconnect with classmates, and super grateful for that.
I would say this campaign, I mean, beyond, my job and sort of launching my career, it also was partly responsible for my marriage as well. I met my husband after this campaign launched, and he sort of immediately recognized me as the at girl. So it was kind of part of that too. That was a very special memory, of course, meeting my husband.
That's so funny. I have a question. Did you guys go on the chapel walk with your husband and wife before you left college?
I probably did. No, I don't.
I'm not answering for you, Jodi. I did not have since. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I think so. Probably.
Was that a thing when you guys were here? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was curious.
Yeah, that's like the urban legend of students in St. John's. Yeah.
Okay. So our final question is, what advice would you have for us or just the Stop at Buzz team in general as we carry on your legacy?
Yeah, what would you want to see us do that would like make you guys proud?
I think just keeping it going. I mean, always coming up with some new innovative way to get the message out. I think there's a lot to be learned in sort of like larger national advertising campaigns that you can sort of apply. Get really creative. We've got limited budgets, and that sort of demands creativity. But yeah, keep it going. It's been going for 20 years. Like it would be incredible to see it continue for another 20.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's considering the content in the audience, like it's a tricky message to try to deliver to an audience of your peers at this age, right? But it's 100% the right one, right? College is obviously a time of a lot of like experimentation and experiential learning, but you don't need to learn how to have a healthy relationship with alcohol by pushing the limits of your body. And using like college as the experimentation, like as an excuse for that, is just super flawed logic. So like, I would say like my advice is like keep advocating for being smart, and in general using messaging that respects the intelligence of your classmates to make the right choices.
I really like that. You don't have to kind of go too far to learn where your limits are. You can just be smart from the get-go.
And I also think there's a really, there's a growing movement around the sober curious. There's also so many more sort of non-alcoholic options. Mocktails are gaining in popularity. Like just the whole culture around drinking, even outside of college, is really shifting. So I think you guys have a really big opportunity to tap into those ideas as well.
We often say how you don't need alcohol to have fun. And I mean, I've always known that, but I am just getting done with a 75 hard challenge, and part of it is no drinking. And I'm pretty extroverted and stuff anyways, so if people are around me that are drinking and I'm not, it doesn't really bother me. But it was really eye-opening. Like I was just at a friend's house the other night, and we were all playing games, and everybody at the table was drinking except me, and I was like, I'm having just as much fun playing this game as you guys. Yes. And I'm not killing brain cells doing it, so.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Even in the college scene, I think that people are really noticing, like, do I want to be getting drunk every weekend? And, like, what is this doing to my health and things like that? And so, yeah, that's very true. I think that we have a good opportunity to kind of lean into that, and I think it's very cool. And I think hopefully that we're helping get that message across, too, that you don't have to participate in partying and drinking to have a really full and awesome college experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, okay, so that's the end of our list of questions, but is there anything that we didn't ask you that you were kind of hoping to get the chance to say, or that you would want included that you think was maybe missed or something like that? I know sometimes I was just thinking about this. I don't know what the context was, but it was like sometimes you don't get asked a question that you're expecting to get asked, and so I was wondering if there was anything like that for you guys. I
mean, you've jogged like the bulk of my memories of this because it was 20 plus years ago, which is bonkers. But like I would say, nothing really that you didn't ask. I think we hit the origin story, and kudos to you guys for keeping it going, and hopefully you enjoyed like experimenting with it, having fun like with the messaging of it all, and it leads to opportunities for you guys as well.
Yeah. I think the only other thing, and that's probably not connected to anything, but I do remember the exact point where we came up with the logo and the name and everything. We were sitting in Brother Willie's pub, if you remember. You don't remember that? No, I very distinctly remember that. We were in Brother Willie's pub.
I mean, I remember having meetings there. Yeah, we were upstairs. Actually, I do now that you say that. We were upstairs in the pub.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I guess you didn't jog all of the memories. That one just came back. Yeah.
Our advisor so she just started 5 years ago now, and she knows that this campaign started, what year was it exactly? 2004? Okay. And so it's 20 years later, so like she always says, I'm waiting for the kids of the people that started this campaign to like walk through the door or something like that.
I was just thinking that she's mentioned that, but
like she always says like any year now, like they're in that age range where maybe their kids are old enough, but you, Ben, said you have a 6 and 8.
Yeah, Jodi's got a head start on me, but I think there's still some time.
I've got a 6th grader, so he has a ways to go. I am accepting him to go to St. John, so we'll see.
I'll tell her to hold off her hope for a little bit.
Yeah, you heard it from the source here. That's not happening soon.
Yeah. Unless your kid is like an academic prodigy, maybe.
Skips many.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all that we had to ask you guys. Thank you so much for talking with us. It was so cool to learn about and hear about and put some faces to names. And yeah, we just appreciate you taking the time to hop on the call.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for doing what you're doing and keeping it going. That's really awesome and incredible.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you guys.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, you as well.
Thank you.